Hello, this is Harry Payton. I'm the host of the Irvington Now Show. If you are watching this, and I assume if you hear me, you're watching this, you are now in season 2 of the Irvington Now Show. Last year, from July until July last year until July of this year was the first year. I was fortunate enough to have many great guests, and this year we're looking to do even better and greater things. I met with the Honorable Mayor, Tony Voss. He's satisfied, and he has projected many great things, and I look forward to the things that I can do to highlight the great things that are happening in Irvington. Today, I have as a special guest one of those great things that is happening in our township, and it's a historic thing, and we'll speak on some of the history of why this is such a great thing. But it is the chief of the Irvington Fire Department, Mr. Antonio, I'm sorry for messing up your name, Antonio Gary. Thank you, sir, for being a guest.
Thank you for having me, Mr.
Yes,
Payton.
sir.
I really appreciate it. Good morning to you.
Yes,
good morning, Irvington residents as well.
Yes. Now, Chief Gary, what I usually do for all guests is have them give background information that is specific to themselves, just so people can get to know you a little more personally. Can you give our audience some background information on yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to start this interview by saying I'm a God-fearing person. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm an active member in church. I'm a member of Christ Church, which is up in Montclair, and they also have a Rockaway campus. So, with him, I owe all honor and respect. I wouldn't be in this position if God didn't set the roadmap for me. So that's the important thing that we need to point out, because I'm a true believer that you have to have some type of faith. Otherwise, you're just walking around this world misguided, and God truly sets the roadmap or map for me. Additionally, you should know that I'm very dedicated and civic-minded. I've been in the community here, serving the community for 20 years, but I've been involved in public relations or public safety, I should say, from back in 1984. I'm a retired tour commander from EMS in Newark, New Jersey, which was at one time one of the highest call volume systems in the country. And like I said, I went through the ranks up to EMT, all the way up to 911 tour commander, and then finally retiring as a field tour commander. Additionally, I spent a lot of time in the community here. You probably have seen me around. I'm very civic-minded. I believe that we always have to give back and give the children an opportunity to see what they're capable of achieving if they just put the time in. So that's pretty much what I would like to share in regards to some of my attributes, if you will.
Great. And again, I'm always am glad to get that background information, because it does kind of personalize it. And I'm a strong believer in faith, so we have that in common, and that's a great thing, because it is what has taken me through many of my trials and tribulations. So certainly I'm glad to know that. And again, as you said, it attributes to much of your success, because our faith is the thing that you can depend on. We love each other, but sometimes you can't depend on man and woman.
Yeah, you have to take refuge in His Word,
right?
Whatever your faith is,
right?
You have to take refuge in my particular case, the Bible.
Yes.
Because whenever I need someone to console me, and I think it's more personal, I always resort to prayer and scripture. So that's pretty much how I start my day and I end my day. So it's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful. And just so I share, I don't know if I ever shared this to the audience, but it seems apropos at this time. This year, December 15th, will be my 30th year as being a deacon in Unity Freedom Baptist Church.
Wow,
So
I didn't know that.
That's it seems like when I say 30 years, it scares me.
It goes
But it's
by
been
so fast.
Right, it goes by so fast, and it's something that I'm certainly most proud of, that I've been able to serve in that capacity for 30 years now. So
yeah, that's a blessing.
certainly we like I said, we share that definitely in common.
Absolutely.
Now, Chief Gary, how long have you been a firefighter, and how did you become interested in the profession?
Well, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, my roots started with emergency medical services. So to answer your question, I've been a firefighter for over 20 years. Most of that time here within the township of Irvington. When we think about, what you have in store for the future, I always wanted to partake in public service or public safety. But when I was in school, we're talking about college, I knew that I wanted to have alternatives. because life is about options and having alternatives. And one day when I was on an ambulance call, we went to a call, the fire department was there, and I was just, amazed with the camaraderie and how tight-knit the community or that avenue of or area of that discipline were. That inspired me to take the fire test. Even though I thought about it as a child, I didn't really get into it until later on in life. But it's a very rewarding profession, career, and I love it. So I would never, say anything negative about it because it's all good. Most people love firemen, and I just happen to be sitting at the helm right now. So I have a huge responsibility to the community, as well as the members of the department that I serve.
Beautiful. And again, you're absolutely correct. And I believe the term is the finest. The bravest.
The bravest is the police. We're the bravest. Yes.
Right. I always get sometimes mixed up, but I like you. I admire anyone that does something.
I'm sorry, did I mess that up? Bravest is the fire department. Police are the finest.
And the finest, right? And like I said, see, at least I know I'm in common because it both could serve on both distinctions. But the distinction is a distinction.
Well, I like to say we're fine plus brave. So, we're under that entire umbrella.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
There are more policemen that want to be firemen than there are firemen that want to be police.
Absolutely.
But, that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other. That's right. That's right. And both of you serve the community in capacities that I openly admit. I guess that's part of my stewardship as being a deacon. Is that I try to be honest when honesty is just absolutely necessary.
Absolutely.
It's good to be honest 100% of the time, but I would not want to serve as a police or fireman because of my fear of having something happen.
Absolutely.
And both professions have that certain danger. Every time you come to work, you have that element of fear and of danger.
Yes.
And you guys, in spite of that, come to work. Like you said, you've been serving for some 20 years plus. And every day you do that. And like I told someone in the military back in '73 when they had the Vietnam War and they had the draft numbers, I was hoping for a high draft number. I did not want to serve, get shot at, shoot. And those are things that I admire of other people because other people take on that mantle. And you certainly have taken on that mantle. And, that's a great thing because without people like you, what would happen when there's a fire? What would happen when there's dangers out there?
No, you're absolutely right. It's interesting. A lot of people ask, well, how do you do these jobs? And I think I can speak for most people in the profession. We really don't think about the dangers associated. Clearly it's an adrenaline rush in terms of the things that you do. What we have a tendency to forget is the impact it has on the family. Even though we as firemen or police officers, firefighters and police officers, it's an inherent dangerous job. We can leave and not come home. We rarely think about the impact it has on the family. It wasn't until after I retired and I was sitting down and talking to my family and they expressed to me their concerns. So the point for me bringing this up is I want anybody involved in this field to take some time and appreciate and console your family and let them know that you're going to do the best that you can based on the training that you received to ensure that you try to come home in one piece.
That's right. And like you said, it's something that during the time of engagement you may not discuss because it's a subject that you don't want to discuss. Correct. Because it's a honey, I feel bad when you go out. I feel that you don't want to bring it up because then it puts into your mind of what's going on. And like you said, just by discussing different things, sometimes it just alleviates. Absolutely. I don't want to discuss it. But they both persons saying in their mind they don't want to discuss it, it doesn't get discussed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got to also understand that's how we function.
Yeah.
We put things behind us so that we can focus on what we need to do.
Yes, absolutely. Now, recently, you became part of something historic involving the Irvington Fire Department. Can you share the details?
In regards to being the first African-American fire chief in the history of Irvington Fire Department, it's a tremendous responsibility. It took a lot of hard work and dedication. I'm constantly in school. I'm even in school now because education never stops. I think it's a huge plus for the community. And when I say the community, I'm specifically speaking to the youth because they need to have a positive role model. When you look at any inner city urban area, you know, you think about drugs, you think about dropping out of school, you think about the poor conditions of school, you think about the poor living conditions, and you think about, you know, the interactions with people having criminal records or whatever. So all that to say that you run into a lot of negativity. So if you're in that type of situation, you need something positive to uplift you. This is why, you know, I do mentoring and things of that sort. But the youth having the ability to look at me as the first African American in the township that looks like them, all right, it's a huge plus, all right. They should be able to see that that glass ceiling that was never touched is now broken, you know, so I can set the pathways for people coming up after I leave the municipality. It's just a huge responsibility, and I don't think people realize that the burden of keeping this legacy going falls solely with me. You know, in fact, you know, there are various people within the department, both black and white and Latino, that I mentor and that I coach and that I show them what I did to get where I'm at. You know, it's a testing process, so you never ever are out of school. You constantly have to stay up on the new technology. As I mentioned earlier, I'm in school now, so it's a huge responsibility. But I'm so honored. You know, like Obama when he became the first black president. You know, I sort of kind of put myself in that scenario because some of the issues that he's dealing with, I have to deal with, and that's fine. I welcome them because let's not be mistaken. I'll deal with whatever I have to deal with because I've worked hard to get here. I deserve the position. The administration saw my work and my dedication to the community, and they support me being here as well. So we have a lot of work to do, but we'll get there one way or the other.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, I try to do research, you know, being the host, and the research I've done, I know there's an excellent selection. And here's something that you didn't know, and it just happened in a conversation maybe a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday. I have another individual that I'm looking to highlight on the show, and he mentioned to me, not knowing that you were going to be a guest on the show, what happened is I told him that you were going to be a guest on the show, and he said, "Oh, that's my mentor." That was the first words out of his mouth.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he said, "That's Mr. Danny Cruz."
Oh, Danny Cruz is one of our firemen. He's a great fireman. He's exceptional. He loves the community. He has a lot of family here. A lot of his family members own daycares in town. So it's a very progressive family in the sense that they're trying to do things for the community and give back. In fact, as you know, we have a lot of entrepreneurs within the fire department, and he happens to be one of them. And he has that green bus.
That's right, the fun bus.
That's normally at these various community events that we participate in, and usually he donates his time. You know, so it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. That's why I say he's mentioned you as a mentor, and the funny thing is that's what I was talking to him about. You know, highlighting the fun bus, because another great thing that I saw the other day at the Unity Day and many other events, he's having the kids, and the kids are having a great time.
Absolutely.
And as he mentioned, when we were out there, it was hot out there, but I almost wanted to stay on that bus all day because it was air conditioned and everything, and it was just a great...
It's a great time for the kids. It's a safe environment. It's a brilliant idea, whoever came up with the concept. So, yes, he's a great guy.
And that's what that whole thing was about, is that you're mentoring young men like him, and 19 years from now, 20 years from now, he'll be the same way saying, well, here's what I did, and here's what I'm giving back. So we thank you for your mentorship, because we just mentioned Mr. Cruz, but there are other people that you're mentoring, so certainly we thank you again. I'm going to shake your hand individually just for that, because your job is to be the chief. You don't have to mentor people.
But it's my obligation, my responsibility. You have to give back, all right? And if we don't give back and we keep doing things the way things were done, we'll never make any progress. So I have to give back.
Thank you, sir. Now, something else historic took place with the fire department recently, and it had to do with another first regarding a female. Right now, we are experiencing the first female presidential nominated candidate. I think that's said correctly. But can you discuss that?
We're talking about Secretary Hillary as the first female nominated for on the Democratic side for president. That's huge. You know, it's amazing that in this day and age we still have to go through the first. You know, specifically how this applies to the fire department. You know, we have our first Latino female firefighter, but a lot of people don't know we've had a female firefighter before, and she was the first African American female. We're going back in the 70s. Now you can imagine how hard it was to be a female firefighter back in the day. All right, we're talking about how the Vulcan Pioneers, which is an International Association of Black Firefighters, started in Newark, Patterson, Jersey City, Elizabeth, how the struggle, what the struggle was just to be able to acquire a position as a firefighter. So we're going back to the 70s, so you can imagine how hard it was and difficult for her. So her career was short-lived because of those pressures, but she's doing extremely well. But even now, as we speak today, you know, we have a female firefighter. We haven't had that in a long time. We're in the process of hiring, and if I'm not mistaken, we have two candidates that are females that are probably going to do well, and they should be coming on the job as well. So what was unattainable is now here, and you know, the administration supports diversity. All right, so it's a huge step for the fire department to incorporate and welcome all types of personnel to the fire department, despite what your ethnicity is or your gender.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, and when you say that, it's 70s again, that is quite a while ago, because again, I was just graduating high school, you know, in the 70s, going to college. So that's, you know, I'm not a young man anymore. Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And I realized the challenges that were certainly present there that many people don't know about, because a lot of those barriers have been broken down to a degree. And we thank that first firefighter that now has opened the door up for the firefighter that is, or firefighters that are the one that is already on board, and the other two that are potentially coming on.
Correct. It's a huge step. You know, it's a huge step.
Yes, yes. And let me see now.
In the right direction, I should say too.
Absolutely. Now, if there is someone in our audience who's interested in becoming a firefighter, male or female, what steps do you recommend that they take?
Well, you know, it's real simple to become a firefighter or a police officer, but I'm going to specifically speak about the fire department because that's who I represent. I love the fire department. I'm the chief of the fire department. So to answer your question, Mr. Payton, it's real simple. All that's required is that you have a high school diploma or GED. All right, you have to be 18 years or older. The max that you could be is 35. You have to be appointed to the fire department by 35. If you exceed that, you won't be allowed to get into the police and fireman's pension. Clearly, you can't have any felonies. You have to have a valid driver's license also. And then the process is civil service, which is the human resources department for local and state government. It's a testing process. You send an application in, you tell where you live. To get a job in Irvington, you have to be a resident of Irvington. It's a resident requirement, as well, residency requirement, as well as in most of the municipalities in the area, with the exception of like Maplewood or Bloomfield. I believe they open up to several counties. Send the application in, then you have to go through a testing process. There's a written test, and there's a physical performance test. The Department of Civil Service has recently revised the testing process, where now it's a pass-fail for the physical. So you have to take the written. Depending on how you score, you get ranked. So if you score 99 and your friend scores 98, clearly you're going to be ranked number 1. So that's important because once the municipality goes to hire, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know, sequential order to fill the vacancies that they have. Now, it's a great opportunity right now because you know the fire department is extremely understaffed right now. The administration recognizes that, and you know we're taking the necessary steps to try to fill those voids. I say that to say that the test only comes around every 3 years. There's a active list out there right now, and we're in the process of hiring. I foresee us hiring for the next few years, so this is a great opportunity to actually think about taking the test. And the most important thing that you need to think about, even if you're going to college, you know, sometimes you go to college, just as myself, in a career that you thought you were interested in is not what you were interested in. Life is about options, as I said before. So even if you're going to school, if that test is coming up, take the test, because you never know. You may fail out of school, school may not be for you, but you have the opportunity to get a great job, great benefits, great pay, great schedule, and you know you can make a career out of serving your community.
That's beautiful. And I know many great firefighters. And again, I've been fortunate. I've been in Irvington for more than 30 years, and you just get to know each and everybody because we attend various events, and I know that it is a career. You guys are out there working hard, and along the way, serving the community and providing for your family. So I certainly, if anyone is interested, certainly you heard it directly from the chief. Even if you're right now endeavoring in something else, take the test because it's something that you can fall back on, and you can certainly count it as something that is an admirable profession, not just in Irvington, but across the United States, probably across the world. And it's something that if you do it, the rewards are more than double. You make a good salary, you serve your community, and that's double, so certainly there's more. Now, Chief Gary, we're going to take a brief break.
Okay.
Thank you for all the information that you provided. As I tell the audience many times, if you haven't already called a friend, a neighbor, let them know that the Irvington Chief of the Fire Department, who just happens to be the first African American that holds that position, is here. But not only that, he served in the capacity in the fire department for some 20 years, and he's someone that you should listen to because he certainly is serving our community. So take the time to listen to him and hear some of the details that he'll give you because we do have more. We'll be right back.